So, hello and good evening, students, and welcome back to Global Online Platform. So, we are going to talk about George Orwell today, some other works of George Orwell, 1984, and other works. Okay, so you can get my lecture at 8 p.m. on a daily basis. But before diving into the video, let me share that there is a great opportunity to prepare smartly for the April 2024 Maharashtra SET. Global Online is offering a comprehensive English literature course. You will have access to video lectures that explain concepts using short and effective methods. The course also provides downloadable PDF notes for your convenience. Additionally, you will get mock tests that stimulate real exam condition, boosting your final preparation. Okay. Now, and the best part is that you are getting complete course of paper 1 for free. Just imagine that. Okay, so you are getting it for free. Now, to learn more, reach out to the provided contact number. Now, if you want to watch the free videos, first download the Global Online app, okay? Then, once you are in, head to the store section. There you'll find details of all the courses. Use the search bar to directly type in the course name, okay? And you will see an overview along with fees for revision. Click on the content section here and you'll find unit-wise folders. In each unit you'll get theory lectures, evaluation, notes, mock tests and MCQs. No need for extra reading. Now, if you decide to join the paid course, do remember that we are starting a new batch from 22nd of February. 22nd of February. Okay, do remember the date. You will also be added to a WhatsApp group if you'll add or join the paid course. In that group, you'll receive PDF for each session along with the videos link. It's a great way to stay connected and get additional resources. So, happy learning. Okay, now let's start with the other works of George Orwell. So let's do a different thing today. We are going to cover some minor works of George Orwell first, then we'll go with 1984, okay? So let's start. So fifth work in this slide is Down and Out in Paris and London. What is the title? Down and Out in Paris and London. First full-length work, okay, and it was published in 1913. It was published in 1913, a kind of a memoir which is in two parts on the theme of poverty in the two cities. It's actually talking about two cities as titled already mentioned, Paris and London. It's about poverty and it's a kind of a memoir, okay. Do remember this specifically. Now, two prosperous cities here. I don't know why they are actually mentioning prosperous, but yeah. So its target audience was the middle and upper class members of society. Middle and upper class members of society. Those who were more likely to be well educated, and it exposes the poverty existing in two prosperous cities and London. So just imagine you are looking a place with a perception that everything is good, everything is fine, okay, but all of a sudden it's like epiphany. You will realize that okay, this is also true about this. Okay, so that actually happened. People used to believe in the story, in the memoir, Paris and London is a very prosperous cities, but on the other hand, poverty exposes, so reality came on surface. Okay. Now, second part is travelogue. So, the first part is basically talking about two cities and the second part is all about travelogue. It talks about travels and all. Okay, so do remember this. That is it. Then, the sixth in the slide, The Road to Vegan Fire. The Road to Vegan Fire. Just remember that it's a work of George Orwell. Other things are not important. And also, if you can remember the publishing year, it was first published in 1937. If there will be a question on chronology kind of, but most often Maharashtra SET don't ask such questions, but still you can. Now the seventh work in the slide, Homage to Catalonia. Homage to what? Catalonia. It's a non-fictional and political work. It must be talking about politics and all. It's a non-fictional work. Okay? It must be based on some facts. Now the eighth work in the slide, Keep the Aspidistra Flying. Okay, keep the Aspidistra flying. It was first published in 1936. You don't need to remember. Not very much important, but yeah. It's a socially critical novel. It's a socially critical novel. And about this particular novel, someone commented or said something. What it is and who was the person, let me tell you. Gordon Comstock. Gordon Comstock was the person who said, a well-educated and reasonably intelligent young man possessed of a minor talent for writing. A well-educated and reasonably intelligent young man possessed of a minor talent for what? For writing. Okay, so who said this? Gordon Comstock said this. About which work? Keep the Expedistra Flying. Okay, so yeah, we have completed the minor work. Let's cover the most important works, one of the most important work of George Orwell. I was about to say T.S. Eliot. I think I'm obsessed with T.S. Eliot. No, so let's start with the fourth work in this slide. Okay, so 1984. You can also say this like this. It's a dystopia work because the whole story talks about Big Brother is watching you. Big Brother is watching you. It's a kind of a political agenda also, that political scenarios are there, how they were ruling. Okay, this thing you are going to say. And the main character is Winston Smith. Okay, so the whole story revolves around him. But background is very important, so you need to understand. Let me tell you that. It's a dystopian novel, first thing. 1984 emerged from Orwell's experiences during a time of global conflict. Okay, so he wrote it when actually he was experiencing the global conflict, the rise of totalitarian. What is totalitarian? You must know these things. What is totalitarian? You say that democracy is the most useful technique or whatever it is, okay? But totalitarian, basically, in democracy what happens? Everybody speaks, okay? Everybody has the right to speak or choose, right? So in totalitarian what happens? The only party is ruling, okay? Ruling the whole country. Just imagine a person is ruling the whole country. Be it anyone, I won't name it because I don't have a very suitable name for that, but totalitarianism or totalitarian is actually that, okay? So the rise of totalitarian regimes and the beginning of the Cold War. So when he was writing, the background was the beginning of the Cold War and also the rise of the totalitarian regimes. Now, Orwell lived through World War II, experiencing the rise of totalitarian regimes such as Nazi Germany and Stalinist Soviet Union. This is also the background, like this was also the background of Animal Farm. Somewhere you must have seen that Soviet Union, Stalinist was there, okay? So do remember this information, it's important. Now let's talk about the characters, the important characters of 1984. Winston Smith, the first character, the main character, as I've told you this. So, who was he? Let me tell you something about him. So, 39-year-old member of the Outer Party who remembers as a child living in London in the days before the revolution. Winston works at the Ministry of Truth, where his job is to write history to align with whatever the totalitarian regime of the party declares to be truth at the moment. So, he is actually working at the Ministry of Truth. He is at 39 years old, member of the Outer Party, living in London. This is the basic detail of him. Let's cover the second. Big Brother. So Big Brother is basically representing the totalitarian party or a politics or whatever. So as the moustachior, figurehead of the party and supreme leader, of course I cannot name a person, but you can always imagine anybody. Big Brother rules Oceania. Everyone is accepted not just to follow him but to love him. Like he was expecting that, okay, don't only follow me, love me. But so please give them reasons to love you, right? Now the next character, O'Brien. O'Brien is a prominent member of the inner party. So Winston was from outer party and he's from a inner party member whom Winston instinctively admires and feels drawn to. But O'Brien, like Winston is convinced that O'Brien, like him, secretly hates the party and that he is just better than Winston at concealing his antipathy. Okay, so he was actually creating problems. Okay. Next is Julia, the love interest of Winston, and everything started with her. Okay, so that spy thing started with her. So Julia is first introduced as a dark-haired girl who works in the fiction department of the Ministry of Truth. Okay, he was working in the fiction department. So both were working in the same same place, but they had a different area. Now, being only 26, he was 26. Just imagine somebody is 39 and somebody is 26. Julia has no memories of anything prior to 1960. So, of course, she must have not get it because the political scenario must be new for her, right? Now, the next is Immanuel Gonstein. So, there is a book here, okay? Goldstein wrote, and you need to remember the work, The Theory and Practice of Oligarchical Collectivism. What? The Theory of Practice of Oligarchical Collectivism. This book has been mentioned in this particular work, so you need to remember this. Now, Immanuel Gonstein was an early leader of Big Brother's revolution, but he broke off from the party when he felt that it had betrayed its idealistic goals. Okay, so he was a party member, but betrayed, like left out. It is Goldstein who is said to have written the book. Of course, I have just told you the opposition's treatise explaining how the party maintains control over the people. So, so many books are written. Okay, so many writers have written it, but in countries, like it actually varies per country to country. But in every country, you can say see that some books are banned. Okay, so yeah. Next is Mr. Carrington. Mr. Carrington appears to be a frail man of about 60, the owner of an antique shop in the Pearl neighborhood of London. When the story begins, you will be introduced to this character, Mr. Carrington. Winston used to go there. Now, let's cover the summary you are eagerly waiting for. So, set in a totalitarian figure where the world is divided into three super states. So, the first is Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia. It is something like, it's very related or very inspirational titles, I guess. Okay, so first is Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia, East. So the story follows, of course, Winston Smith, a low-ranking member of the outer party in Oceania, as he navigates a society governed by the party led by the enigmatic Big Brother. So every time Big Brother is watching you, Winston, they were not even supposed to write diaries. Okay, they wanted that the full energy you have, like whatever energy you have in your body, you should give it to your nation. That was their ideology. Okay, and they were forcing people to follow that, and you cannot even love, you cannot even marry. So these things were there. So that is why it's a dystopia novel. So Winston works at the Ministry of Truth, where he alters historical records to fit the party's propaganda. So basically he is working in the favor of the party. Now, despite outward conformity, Winston harbors rebellious thoughts and begins to question the oppressive regime. So there a character enters, and actually O'Brien was the person who was like, you will get to know, he discloses and trapped them. He starts a forbidden affair basically with Julia, a fellow party member, leading them into the dangerous territory of opposing. Like they were, when they caught out, okay, they were being tortured so ruthlessly that they parted. Okay. Territory of opposing the party's control over individual thoughts and actions. As Whitson and Julia explored their defiance, they encountered O'Brien, a high-ranking party member who seemed sympathetic to their cause. Now, however, this proves to be a trap as O'Brien betrays them. Of course, because when Whitson started having thoughts, the opposite thoughts or contrary thoughts against the party. So O'Brien was the person who get that, okay, and he was actually spying to Whitson, and altogether he found out the things with the affair thing with Julia and disclosed this to the party, and that is how they were being trapped, okay, so badly. So subjecting them to the brutal methods of the thought police. Now, the narrative delves into the psychological and physical torment Whitson undergoes to break his spirit and force him into complete submission to the party's ideology, because they were so tortured so ruthlessly that when I was reading it, I was like, oh my god, how can somebody do such things to a person? So that happened in the novel. Okay, so when you read, you will realize what happened. Okay, and you must read it. The novel explores themes of surveillance, censorship, mind control, and the manipulation of truth, because they were manipulating. They were like, even you can see the media is today's media is manipulating the truth. You are only like, you can only see the half truth. That is also a lie. Orwell paints a bleak picture of a society where the government controls not only action but also thoughts, erasing any form of dissent. So they were like controlling their thoughts. Like, just imagine, you cannot think anything against the party, a particular party. They will also control that. Very terrifying, yet the truth. Okay, now the famous quotes, let's cover that. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. So focus on the present. All the same, like, eventually I am getting this. Okay, now war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. So this quote has been repeated so many times in the novel. You can see, even if you open the novel 1984, you will get, okay, there is war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. Even you will not remember any of the quotes, you will remember this quote. And also, Big Brother is watching you. Every time they are mentioning Big Brother is watching you. I have also mentioned this so many times because repetition. Now, fourth one, confession is not betrayal. What you say or do doesn't matter. Only feelings matter. If they could make me stop loving you, that would be the real betrayal. Who could have said this? Guesses? You need to find out. This is your job. Now, fifth is, sanity is not statistical. What? Sanity is not statistical. Now, we have completed today's lecture. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you very much and all the very best.